Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. On today's Flashpoint, I'm speaking with Andy Bibby of 87%. I caught up with Andy at the Emergency Services Show 2021, and Andy is an upcoming guest on the podcast. And today we get a sneak peek on the work that Andy and the team have been getting involved with at 87%. Today's Flashpoint was brought to you by the wonderful William Wood Watches, the makers of those beautiful watches made from upcycled fire service equipment. So without further ado, let's jump in and take a listen to today's Flashpoint. Andy, you've just said loads of stuff there that's absolutely fantastic, and I wish I'd have already started recording it. I know it's something we're going to have you and 80% on the podcast properly at some point soon. 87%. But I wanted to ask you again. So you guys have brought out a fantastic paper with regards to mental health, mental well-being within the emergency services sector and how it's affected. Before we just came on there, we were speaking a little bit about, you were saying how it needs to be data-driven. Yeah. And just reiterate that for me. Just explain that for me.
When we started the organisation, we looked at and said, okay, mental well-being within society needs to improve. Mm-hmm. And we believe the Peter Drucker piece is, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Yeah. So if you want to improve it, you have to measure it. So the first
what gets measured gets done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All of that, and so that's.
Haven't we already got some of those mechanisms in place though? Because when I hear that in some of my older companies and stuff like that, engagement surveys, stuff like that, aren't those the mechanisms? Are we just not leveraging them right? How much of a bridge is it between that and mental well-being? I know the engagement perhaps is more business focused rather than individual focused. Yeah. But
well, when you look at engagement surveys, even well-being surveys, what you're looking at is, how could we support you more? These are very general questions. What we've gone down is we have 7 dimensions, 35 sub-dimensions. This is a clinically valid, holistic measure of the individual, because I look at it and I say, look, if you're going on a diet, on day 1, you step on the scales.
Yep.
That's what you do. But when you're looking to improve your mental well-being,
how do you do a from and to? Yeah. How do you know what's happening?
So we have a clinically valid measure, 35 sub-dimensions of your life. It gives you a very holistic view. We can then take that data, aggregate that up, and our aggregation limit is 25. Okay. That allows us in a large organization to get very granular. Most of our clients are doing gender, comparing gender, they're comparing age groups, they're comparing seniorities, they're comparing locations, and it means that you can actually get a really good view on the organization. That data also then allows us to benchmark, so I can say, okay, well, our work in this sector of society is better than this sector, and therefore here are the areas. So once you've got that benchmark and that data, you have everything that you need. And actually it was the chairman of Barclays who said, if you don't have data, you don't have anything. Yeah. Because you don't know what to do, you don't know where you are.
Is there a strange paradox as well, though, in the fact that we're talking about people here, specifically in the emergency services sector, looking at fulfillment, engagement, personal health, well-being, and satisfaction in our jobs. Yep. Historically, from the data I've looked at, for the emergency services, you tend to have a bit more of that. Sometimes people can have a greater connection with the purpose of what they do. Yep. But the paradox that I'm alluding to is the fact that because we're publicly funded, is there a balance that even though we theoretically enjoy our jobs more, I know I personally do, but we're also not really looked after and supported in the same way that maybe people would in the private sector? Do we kind of use the fact that, you love your job, we know you don't get paid enough maybe, but you love what you do anyway, yet the hours, the sleep, the mental stress, the trauma, how have we missed that balance, if I'm saying that right?
In the data we saw 2 things. 92% of people who work in the emergency services sector love their job. They are proud of the work they do. That's why they stick it out. Because at the end of the day, it's a tough job. It's long hours. It's shift work. There are a lot of sides to that. And so the other thing that came out on the flip side of that is that the biggest problem in the emergency services is work-life balance.
Hell yes.
So we look at that and we know that work-life balance is very difficult for people. It puts strain on relationships.
Is there such a thing?
Well,
I know that we can argue how the balance is, but I'm like a recovered addict, so my balance is probably different somebody else's balance.
Yeah.
I feel I have to be engaged with something where I can feel a tangible return. I get that I get that dopamine fix that I'm doing something that's making product. So I will always invent more work for myself, which maybe isn't healthy. My wife might say something different.
You've got to, I think the lines are blurred, and the pandemic has done that even more with working from home. It's not home life and work life, it's just life. And so what we're saying, particularly in this sector, and we see it a lot of our sectors are busy, but in this sector particularly, right in a pandemic, then that sort of, you are very busy people. And this is where I think if well-being becomes a thing that your leadership says, well, you need to take an hour to do this, or you've got to find half an hour to do that, that's when it starts to become a chore.
Okay.
And so we talk about sort of two directions of the business. One around the data and making sure that people understand, okay, what's good and what's bad and what can we aspire to as an organization. But then the second thing is that as an individual, what can I do that will fit into my lifestyle and the organization that I work for? And so 95% of the people who are on our platform are on a customized version of that platform.
Yep.
That means that if you're on a firefighter version of the platform, that is speaking to you as a firefighter. If you're a police, you're going to see police images. If you're London Ambulance Service, you're seeing London Ambulance images. It's got to speak to me. Secondly, it needs to fit into my life. And this is why I love the 5 a day and the 10,000 steps. Because with 5 a day, I don't add eating vegetables to my to-do list.
No.
I'm eating anyway.
Yeah.
I just make a slight
It's
adjustment.
a slight exchange.
10,000 steps. I don't add walking to my day. I'm walking anyway.
Yeah.
I just say, okay, instead of taking the lift, I'm going to take the stairs.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And it really works. And so the volume...
It provides a small sort of incremental change, or a subtle change as it were, rather than a jarring, you must make an extra hour for X.
Yes.
My day's full.
You've got to fit that in, and that's the direction that our technology, and I'm a technologist by training, I don't have any clinical training, but I do understand how technology, when it really works, disappears.
Yeah.
And what we're really, the platform, what we're trying to do is, we've got this Me in 3, which is just 2 to 3 minutes a day, and we're starting to put that into channels where people are. Mm-hmm. We're going to be releasing that in social channels. So I take the same analogy. I'm on WhatsApp anyway. I'm talking to my partner, I'm talking to my kids, I'm talking to my family. I can just make a slight adjustment and take 2 minutes to talk to 87%. And I'm done. You know, I can do it on my watch. I have a watch, that's where I have all my health data, that's where I track my steps. You know, Me in 3 on your watch. I just need to do 2 to 3 minutes. It's these little things. That's what's going to help very busy people. Not, hey, you need to do half an hour of meditation before you go to work. I don't have time for breakfast. I ain't doing no meditation or mindfulness or anything else you tell me. So we're really trying to get that in and making sure that we understand the audience we work with.
So I know you're going to get together properly, and we'll have a full chat about all of this and the great work the company's doing. But for the interim, for people that want to go have a proper look at this study, I mean, where's the best place for them to go? Where's the best place for them to get a hold of it? Have a good read, get familiar with it before we do our episodes.
You can go straight to our website, 87%.co.uk, and you just give us a little bit of information. Just give us your email so that we can send you the digital copy of the report. And we hope that while there's some hard-hitting numbers in there, we try and really talk about what's the next steps. How do we really start to improve this sector of society, which finally, I think, at least everybody's recognizing how important it is at this time.
It's a very digestible document as well. I've read it. I'm not highly educated individual, but it makes sense to me. It's not a really long document, and there's some great, bold, standout takeaways and some really actionable steps that people can pick up and sort of do straight away.
Yeah, perfect.
Beautiful. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it.
No problem.